just like that. Boom. Been using this extension cord for, when I was in college when I first started using this wire here, but it's always been for welding. Different rental houses I've worked in, I'd go straight to the garage. I just wire this straight into the dryer breaker. So I just pulled this tandem out so I can get the two legs of the 220. I think I get this in there, right? Right. There. All right, got the ground hooked up. Everything is clear. Everything is snug. Stand on 1 foot. There you go. Well, back in the old days, TIG welding was a hobby of mine. I used to go out to my little workshop and TIG weld like every night of the week, just practicing, making containers. I don't even think I ever put any videos up of this TIG welder. Maybe I did. But I've got a little mystery project. I don't know if I've told you what it is or if I'm just going to make you stick around to see what the heck I'm building. Probably going to do that. It's a little bit of an experiment. But this is a TIG welder, AC/DC. You can weld aluminum with it. That is extra difficult, but welding regular carbon steel is pretty easy with a little bit of practice. What I've got to do is weld these two nuts together and these two nuts together. These other nuts, they're just there for storage, but these two and these two have to become one long nut. I don't need any filler rod. I'm just going to heat it up and weld them together. All right, you're right down there on the workbench. I'm not in a great position to work the pedal, but we'll make it work here. Bad. Almost like I knew what I was doing. There's a post flow. Gas flows out after. I think I got it set right. Oh, well, you do. What's this one? Here's what one of my custom set of nuts looks like, all TIG welded together. Now, what am I going to do with these things? These nuts are going to be used to install a toilet. A very unique toilet situation. You guys have seen it. The bolts that are on the flange are concrete anchors. They're not things that you can just loop in the little slots. They are concreted into the ground. There's no getting them out. And they're too short once I put tile floor down. So what these are going to do, well, you'll just have to wait and see, because I'm not sure it's going to work. But I think it's going to work. Some of you might have guessed that we have to address the bolts for this toilet. The bolts that are here are permanently anchored into the concrete. They're not your typical toilet bolt. You can jackhammer it out and try to epoxy new ones in. There's a few simple solutions, and I think I've got one. We're gonna see if it works. Hopefully it works. I'll bring you down close. It's pretty nasty down here. So if you got a weak stomach, close your eyes. All right, here's the situation. We've got some pea stains. Keep in mind there used to be carpet here, and that's what we're working with. They're a little on the short side. This one's even worse. See, barely comes up through the toilet there. Whew. Yeah, it's kind of stinky too. I got the toilet off, And we are now going to use my little custom nuts, my custom welded nuts, to make them longer. Picked up a new style hybrid type wax ring, specifically for locations like this. I've already kind of test fitted it in there to see if it would work. A lot of times you just put a jumbo wax ring on it and you'd be fine. You know, I was looking at this thing at the store and it caught my attention and I pulled it out, I read the directions, and it should work perfectly. Well, we will see if it does or not. So I'm gonna bring you down here, kind of go through where I'm gonna cut, how I'm gonna cut, and start to cut. Hey, so you can see these seem like they're up pretty high, but they're not. So what I have to do is cut this below where the toilet would contact it so that it doesn't hit the top of my nut. It's going to be right around there. I only need one nut thickness higher than what this is because these are flush with the toilet. I don't want to have to cut them twice. So we're going to cut it right about there. I'll thread on a nut first before I cut and then back the nut off to clear the threads or clean the threads up. Put your safety squints on, everybody. Knipex, the K, Knipex. So here's the setup. This top part here is the adapter for the difference in the flange, so the floor surface. That goes on right like that. It looks a little high, doesn't it? But the way this is supposed to work is this all, I don't want to do it now, but it all squishes down. This whole area here is filled with wax, like your traditional wax from a wax ring. So it's all gonna squish down. We will put our bolts on once the toilet is down. There you go. Now, there's all sorts of other things messed up with this toilet. The tank is loose. Those washers underneath the bolts that hold the tank on, I'm guessing, are worn out. So before we even fill this up with water, I'm going to make a run to the store and get all the necessary parts so that this thing doesn't leak. I don't know if you can see up close there, but this is the rubber washer. See how those, you can see through the floor now? But these things really degrade over time and they start leaking. So I'm going to go get some rubber washers. I just broke it with one hand. That's a good sign that I'm not wasting my time going to get new rubber washers. The bolt looks fine. Bolt doesn't look corroded at all. These nice new boots. Electrician's boots to do plumbing work. Okay, I know there's going to be questions. Why did you do this instead of that? Why didn't you just put a new toilet in? Seems like it would be easier. All your answers are on the Handyman Business YouTube channel. It all has to do with the business, how to get more work, how to retain customers, how to meet their expectations, how to do what they ask you to do. Got the new washers in, it's all filled up. Use my Olight flashlight, never leave home without it. The S2R Baton 2. It's amazing little flashlight. I use it all the time. I used it when I put the toilet on. I just turned it on, put it on the floor like that. I can see the bolts through the hole in the toilet. There'll be a link and a discount code in the description if you're interested. You have to have some sort of flashlight. Can't do anything without a flashlight. I use it every single day. Where the hell's the flosser? It's one of the Miko models. This is a new Glacier Bay Home Depot special type you probably could adjust the flapper. So everything worked fine. That new toilet gasket wax ring hybrid thing that's half wax, half rubber worked great, especially for the flange that is like embedded in the concrete, along with those bolts that were in the concrete. Jesus, that's a loud toilet. Along with those bolts that are embedded into the concrete. I know there's going to be questions or comments saying, hey, Handyman, you can just buy those little extended bolts. I know that, but they wouldn't make for good YouTube. And they don't sell them at the Home Depot or Lowe's. They probably do sell them at Ace Hardware. I probably could have found a turnbuckle that was 3/8 and used those and had to cut them. Would have had to cut them anyway. Just so happens that the two nuts were perfect size to do what I needed to do. That's a big shower. The only thing left in this bathroom is to caulk the shower pan to the tile. Oh, and I think we're gonna upgrade the lights. Look at this. But we'll figure something out with that.
Oh my God. It's just so dangerous. He's a wild man.